She was returned twice, called too wild to love, too broken to bother with. She spent 73 days in a shelter kennel watching families walk past without stopping. But one college student sat on a cold floor every night for 11 days, not calling her, not reaching in, just being there. And on day 12, Luna made her choice. Nobody warned Maya about the scratches, not the ones on her arms, 3 thin lines, faded now, barely visible. The ones that mattered were the ones she couldn't see, the ones that ran deeper, the kind that come from loving something that doesn't know yet how to be loved back. She was 19 years old, a sophomore at State, living in a small house on the edge of campus with her dad, Richard. 2 people. One quiet kitchen, one couch that had seen better days, and a silence between them that neither knew how to fill, not since her mom had moved out 2 years ago, not since the house stopped feeling like a home and started feeling like a waiting room. Richard worked nights at a logistics company. Maya studied during the day and stared at the ceiling at night. The house was clean, organized, empty in all the ways that matter. It was her roommate, Jess, who first mentioned the shelter. "They have this cat," Jess said, scrolling through her phone. "Great tabby, super pretty, but nobody's caking her." Maya almost said no. She had exams, her dad had early mornings, they had a rental agreement that technically didn't allow pets. But Jess kept scrolling, and Maya kept looking, and somewhere between biochemistry notes and a cold cup of coffee, she found herself pulling into the Maplewood Animal Rescue on a Wednesday afternoon. The woman at the front desk, a tired but kind volunteer named Carol, didn't sugarcoat it. "She's been returned twice," Carol said, setting down a pen. "First family said she was too wild. Second one lasted 4 days, said she hid under the bed and hissed every time they tried to touch her." Maya looked at the kennel in the corner. Luna was sitting in the very back of it, not pacing, not crying, just sitting. Gray and brown stripes, white chest, eyes the color of a storm about to happen. She looked at Maya the way a person looks at someone they've decided not to trust yet. "What's wrong with her?" Maya asked. Carol shook her head slowly. "Nothing's wrong with her. She's just scared. She came from a hoarding situation, 12 cats in a 1-bedroom apartment. She's never had space that was just hers, never had quiet, never had someone who stayed." Maya drove home with Luna in a carrier on the passenger seat. Luna didn't make a sound the entire ride, just sat in the dark of the carrier and breathed. The first week was exactly what Carol had warned. Luna disappeared behind the washing machine and didn't come out for 2 days. Richard left a plate of food near the dryer, not close, just nearby, and by morning it was always empty. He didn't mention it, didn't make a production of it, just refilled the plate. Maya sat on the floor near the washing machine on the 3rd night, not calling Luna, not reaching in, just sitting with her back against the cabinet, textbook open in her lap, doing homework on the floor like it was the most normal thing in the world. She did that every night for 11 days. On day 12, Luna came out, not to Maya, to Richard. It was 6:47 in the morning. Richard had just come home from his shift. He sat down at the kitchen table with his coffee and his crossword, still in his jacket, too tired to change, and Luna walked in from the hallway, looked at him for a long moment, and jumped onto the chair beside him. She didn't sit on his lap, she didn't purr, she just sat next to him, close enough that her tail occasionally brushed his arm, and Richard, to his credit, did not react, did not reach for her, just kept doing his crossword. When Maya came downstairs an hour later, she found her father asleep at the table, crossword half finished, and Luna curled into a perfect circle beside his coffee cup, one paw resting on his wrist. She took a photo. She didn't say anything, she just went and made more coffee. If you're watching this and you haven't subscribed yet, honestly, that breaks my heart a little. Hit subscribe. You're going to want to see where this goes. Over the following weeks, something shifted in that house. Not dramatically, not all at once, but in the quiet, accumulating way that real things change. Richard started coming home and asking, before he even put down his keys, "Where's Luna?" Maya started texting him updates from class. She knocked over my water bottle again. She's sitting on my notes, all of them, every single one. She figured out how to open the cabinet under the sink. I have no idea why. Luna had opinions, strong ones. She disapproved of Richard's taste in television and would sit directly in front of the screen during anything she found unacceptable. She had a specific spot on the couch, left cushion, third from the end, and if anyone sat there before her, she would stand beside them and stare until they moved. They always moved. She also had a way of knowing. The night Maya got a 58 on her organic chemistry midterm, the one she'd studied 40 hours for, the one she'd been terrified of for weeks, she came home, sat on her bedroom floor, and didn't cry exactly, but didn't not cry either. Luna walked in, looked at her, walked back out. Maya thought, of course, even the cat. But then Luna came back, carrying her toy mouse, a battered gray thing with one eye missing that Maya had bought her in week 2. Luna dropped it at her feet and sat down, not touching, just present, like she was saying, I'm not leaving. I don't know what's wrong, but I'm not leaving. Maya picked up the toy mouse. Luna climbed into her lap. That was the first time. After that, it became a thing. Not every night, but on the hard ones, the ones that felt too big for one person to hold alone, Luna showed up. Richard noticed too. She always knows, he said once, over dinner. He said it quietly, like he wasn't sure he believed it, but did anyway. Something else happened in that house. The silences changed. They stopped being the heavy, waiting kind. They became the kind that two people share when they're comfortable, when they don't need to fill every gap. Richard started leaving his crossword on the kitchen table, halfway done, like an open invitation. Maya started sitting with him in the mornings before class. Luna sat between them, cleaning her face with one paw, completely indifferent to how much she had changed things. She had been returned twice, called too wild, too difficult, too broken to bother with. She had spent 73 days in a shelter kennel watching families walk past. She had every reason not to trust, but she chose them anyway, quietly, on her own terms, in her own time, and they chose her back. If you've ever taken a chance on something the world said wasn't worth it, a rescue animal, a person, a situation that looked too far gone, you already know what this feels like. And if you haven't yet, maybe Luna is your sign. Was it patience that changed her, or did she change them first? Tell me what you think in the comments.